from the Heart.
And welcome back to Horror from the Heart. This is episode 16. And today I wanted to talk about a video game, actually. Recently got me a new computer and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? This gives me the opportunity to be able to kind of kick back and go on PC and stuff like that and see some of the games that I've missed because I've been so outdated with PC stuff. And I ended up finding this game called Visage. Really kind of piqued my interest with just how it was. If any of you guys have played any kind of like video games or anything like that, think in the realm of psychological horror. So think like Silent Hill-esque kind of stuff, which actually this one kind of takes in the same vein as the PT demo. And if you don't know what the PT demo was, it was unreleased Silent Hills game demo. Konami was working on Silent Hills and had released PT as a demo. It was Hideo Kojima that actually had, helped develop into that and everything. And it was really neat with how they did it because the setting that they had was pretty much one room and then a singular hall that continuously looped around. But as you went through this hallway, there was just all this other stuff that would happen. There was this undead woman named Lisa, and you were getting bits and pieces of the story as you were going through this hallway, just continuously looping until you were able to get done with it. And of course, the big surprise at the end was the fact that it actually was a Silent Hills game, but also that Norman Reedus was the predominant character in that game. Now, with this one came out, what was like 4 years after PT, because PT came out in like 2014, and sadly you can't download it anymore. So you could probably find a hacked file probably to get it if you wanted to check it out. If you haven't checked it out, I can honestly say, like with the PT demo, it made me jump. It made me scream out loud because it was just like, holy shit, that was freaky. And I ended up picking up this one, and I've only played like a little bit of it, and it definitely pulls the same kind of vibe that the Silent Hills does, or the PT demo, more or less. And with this one, I'll read off what I have up here as far as what it says. It says it was released in 2020, October 30th of 2020, and it was a Kickstarter, actually. But in its Wikipedia, it's described as Visage is an independent psychological horror video game by Sad Square Studio, set in a strangely structured house with a somber history. Players control Dwayne Anderson as he explores the backstories of the inhabitants that once lived there. And it was mainly inspired by the canceled project of PT. The game ran Kickstarter and Steam Greenlight campaigns. It was later released on October 30th of 2020 and received positive reviews. And from the little bit that I actually got to play in that game, definitely could see why it got the positive reviews that it did. I didn't get too far into it, but this one actually did make me yell out loud, had me jumping just with how creepy everything was, because the setting is, set in kind of like a realism, so like the whole entire set design of this house that you're exploring has realistic textures to it and everything like that, so it almost feels like you're going through a house. But there's a lot of supernatural elements that go through there, so you go in there and you find an item basically to start a chapter on starting in one of the stories. And one of the stories I ended up starting out with, you ended up going through like these mirrors to go to different areas within this house. But just the whole entire setting of everything just gives you that chill because it feels claustrophobic in that kind of way. But it's very daunting too at the same time because you don't know what's coming around the corner, and it doesn't really use a whole lot of music or anything like that, and it gives you like these little random things that'll happen to make you kind of jump and stuff like that. Like you'd be walking someplace and all of a sudden boom, the radio cuts on and you're like, holy shit, what the hell was that? and you're trying to not freak out, and you actually have to kind of stay in the light and everything like that. So if you get into the horror video games, I'm pretty sure you've heard of Amnesia, and that's what that part kind of reminded me of, was Amnesia, where you actually have like a sanity meter and you have to stay in the light and don't look at the horrific things that are there, because if not, your sanity drains. And you actually use items in this rather than it being like Amnesia where you don't have access to anything. You can't pick up anything really other than, items, specifically for certain things. With this one, you have a little bit more that you can actually kind of check out to and use, basically. And it gives you an inventory and everything like that. But it's all set in like a first-person perspective, and just the lighting and the mood in the atmosphere just totally just drew me in. And I really want to take the chance to be able to go through this game kind of a little bit more. And since now that I actually have a computer that I can do stuff like this with, I wanted to see about possibly recording some video and putting it up on the YouTube channel. Same as it is here, Horror from the Heart. Just to be able to, kind of show people what this is. Because I know there's videos out there of people who are playing through it or reviews and things like that. But I wanted to kind of put my own perspective out there as far as how it goes and everything like that. Because just how this whole entire thing is, like just even the beginning, the opening scene, just it had me kind of like, holy shit. Like I'm using that one a lot, but it really did. It had me going, holy shit. Because it tells you right off the beginning, that is going to have these, possibly disturbing scenes. And they jump right out the gate with that, with a really kind of just like, wow kind of moment. You'd have to have like no humanity left in you to not sit back and go like, wow, that was kind of fucked up. Because it definitely was fucked up. But then once you get past that and you get into the game and everything like that, you just have a lot of these moments where you just feel like you're constantly being watched, like you're constantly being followed. And for all you know, you are. But it kind of gives an older aesthetic vibe too, because I think it looks like it might be set in possibly like the 80s or something. And that's simply because of just how some of the set pieces are within that house. Now, granted, there's that part of me where I go through this house, I'm like, how the hell did you guys afford this house? Because it's, it's really, really, it's got a good size to it and everything like that, but it's like well done with how they did it. And the structure of how everything was in that, so joking aside, as far as being able to afford the house type of thing, but, just they make that house feel like it was lived in, or it is lived in, however you want to put it. But I think it came out and came across like really well with how they did that, though. So if you guys want to take the chance to see how the game looks, you can go onto YouTube. I'm gonna see if I can get something up. It's probably not gonna release the same time that this is releasing, because my episodes here release on Saturdays. For me, it's 10 o'clock Central Time over here in the United States. But if you're someplace else or anything like that, I'd say just adjust for time on that when it comes for the episodes. But as far as doing a YouTube episode, I'm going to see if I can try and get something out by Monday or Tuesday, hopefully, to kind of give you guys a look into this fantastic, creepy-ass game. And that's... I just love being able to find stuff like this, because it's just an expansive part of the whole entire horror genre. Like I said, I get into everything, and I mean everything when it comes to horror, but video games especially, because just how you can tell stories with those things. Love movies. I absolutely love the movies, but video games kind of give you this other feel to it, because you're actually putting yourself into it. And this one, Visage, really, really kind of pushes you into their world and just draws you in. It really, really does just draw you in. So I'm kind of curious if you guys get into, video games. I had asked that previously, I know, but I really am kind of curious if you guys get into video games and stuff like that. If you do, have you played this game? If you get into horror video games and stuff like that, have you played this game? And if you did, what are your thoughts on it? How did you enjoy it? Or did you enjoy it? Or could you not even play the game because it was just that damn scary? Let me know. If you are listening to this on YouTube, be prepared to get hit with a video. If you're not listening to this on YouTube, listen on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, whatever it is that you're listening to on. Give me a chance. Stop over there at the YouTube channel. It's the same thing, like I said, Horror from the Heart. If you guys can, subscribe. I post new episodes every single week. I mean, every single week. Trying to make sure I stick to that kind of schedule. If you're on YouTube, give it a like. Leave me a comment down below. Subscribe. If you're on any of the other ones, subscribe to the podcast. And, leave me a good review if you like it. Leave me a bad review if you don't like it. If you think there's anything out there that I could probably tweak or change out or anything like that. But if you made it this far, I very much appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me ramble on about the horror world. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.